and welcome to Cats and Dogs here on Press TV with me, Len Topic. And this week, we take a look at a warm welcome that awaits our Afghan friends in the quarantine-filled hotels of the United Kingdom. Weeks ago, Afghans were scrambling to escape after the Taliban took over Kabul, the capital city. Those seeking refuge in the US still seem to be missing, probably because the Americans left all their notes behind, together with half their tanks, personnel carriers and Air Force. Schoolboy error there, guys. However, it's a different story in Britain. Under Boris Johnson's Operation Warm Welcome, many Afghans who helped NATO forces over the past 2 decades were evacuated to the UK. Now, over 7,000 Afghans are being held in UK quarantine hotels. And commentators have found a helpful word to describe the status of these Afghan escapees. Basically, they're prisoners. Yes, like everything else Great Britain did with Afghanistan, there are doubts about Operation Warm Welcome. There are even reports that Afghans are trying to escape back to their homeland, putting an end to their exile and solitary confinement. I'm not joking. They're literally asking to go home. In other words, things are so bad in Britain, they'd rather take their chances back in Afghanistan. It's quite something when an operation called Warm Welcome makes living under Taliban rule feel like the good old days. The Afghan inmates in Britain have many complaints. Problems with tap water, medicine, healthcare, accommodation, accountability, sympathy and humanity. Now, some would say that means they're just being treated as badly as the rest of the British population. But these Afghans are not allowed to go out for more than 15 minutes each day. So they're being treated as badly as Brits under COVID. Now, by comparison, prisoners held by the Taliban can go out for an hour or 2 a day. Now, in a brilliant move, just to ensure Operation Warm Welcome stays warm, it's claimed air conditioners in hotels are also off.
Minister, good to see you again. Do hope you're well. And by golly, you've got a busy day, don't you? Launching Operation Warm Welcome, the way by which we're going to, well, look after those Afghans that looked after us in Afghanistan. Just tell us a bit more about it.
Well, the mattress is soft, and there's hangers in the closet, and stationery with Bates Motel printed on it, in case you want to make your friends back home feel envious. And the, over there.
The bathroom.
Yeah.
These hotels are so chaotic, overcrowded and disorganised. The only greater mess was that historic American airlift from Kabul airport. One doctor working in one of the UK hotels claims Afghans are so upset, he had to put many on medication and the rest on meditation. Remember, we're talking about Afghans here, a tough, strong nation that neither NATO nor Taliban attacks could break. So consider the irony. The only thing that has broken them is the hospitality of the British government. Maybe the best person to cheer these angry Afghans up is a visit by the greatest comedian of our time, Boris Johnson himself. Perhaps it's not fair to compare these hotels with ordinary prisons. After all, in normal prisons, they tell you what your crime was before they lock you up. And it's usually more than helping the British lose a war. Also, in a normal prison, you get time off for good behaviour. In these hotels, it can seem like the holiday never ends. Meanwhile, the Home Office has recently announced local authorities will get £20 million of support for the resettlement of these Afghans. And the twist? Well, it looks like those who have most welcomed this scheme own hotels and plan to resettle the Afghans there. Since most English don't speak Afghan, maybe it's all a breakdown in communications. So to find out what's really going on, please welcome my next exclusive guest on his mobile phone. Ladies and gentlemen, it's the British Prime Minister, Boris Johnson. Prime Minister Johnson, why are you locking people from Afghanistan up in hotels?
Because we want them to feel welcome when they arrive here from Afghanistan.
But how does it make them feel welcome to lock them up?
It shows how much we want them to stay.
But it doesn't respect their human rights to lock these Afghans up in hotels, and some of the conditions are terrible.
We try to make them feel at home. We try to copy the conditions we created for them in Afghanistan, which, let's face it, wasn't a tea party for any of us.
Well, certainly not for the Afghans. But what exactly is your strategy?
To show great hostility towards these people.
Great hostility?
Hold on. I mean, great hospitality, not hostility. Hospitality. Make sure you edit that hostility thing out.
Well, okay, whatever. Is this about treating them as if you actually want them to go home from here?
Look, what I want to give them is freedom.
But what freedom?
The freedom to go home.
But the way they're being treated, it's one step off being electrocuted or waterboarded in their own rooms.
Yes, that's something we haven't been doing, but we are trying to organize for those to be included in the room service menus.
What, like Guantanamo Bay?
Well, they must have got something right. Okay, how many Middle East guests they've got? And they've been staying there for years.
When will you sort all this out?
It will all be over by Christmas.
I think I've heard that before. And a final message to the people of Afghanistan, Prime Minister?
Yes. I say come to Britain, and you'll never leave, even if you want to.
That was the British Prime Minister, Boris Johnson. That's all from Cats and Dogs this week. Join me again to find out who's staying in Britain, who's escaped, and whether there's a queue of people at the Afghanistan embassy trying to get back to the good old days in Kabul. That's all on Press TV with me, Len Topic, and Cats and Dogs.